Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 148. I'm your host, Dr. David Dizer, and I'm here with my co-host, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's jump into it. Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 148. Let's go. It's 2020.
I'm feeling it.
You're feeling it? What are you feeling?
I feel that I feel a little self-conscious about the New Year's Eve episode. I've been ruminating on it a bit.
Why is that? What do you think?
I feel like I kind of opened the window to my dark reality side.
You think? Did you re-listen to it a little while later?
No, I don't listen. I can't listen.
No.
I'm not a re-listener. I can't do that. But I just want to be clear that I use that as a tool. Mm-hmm. I'm very much a person that's like, let's look at stark reality. Mm-hmm. Let's go there. Let's feel sad. Let's feel embarrassed. Let's use those emotions to then feel it, then a jump off.
Right.
Like I'm very much go there, go to the dark side, go to your fear, look at it, really feel it, and then get to the point of embarrassment that then motivates to change. Like I'm very much a use those emotions person. I use it all as much as I use positive emotion. So I was really going there with 2019. I was really feeling how I actually felt about 2019 and that it was just a junk year for me. Mm-hmm. Aside from, obviously, there were highlights. Like the first year of Ever's life. Like the real first year. She wasn't born in...
That was everything.
Everything. She's literally the most beautiful human being. Mm-hmm. And I don't even understand how I'm her mother. So, I mean, and true, like, it's like now she went from, a toddler to like a child. I don't know. Like it was, those things were magic.
Right.
So I also want to be clear that life isn't black and white. But as a whole, I really did disdain 2019 and I use those negative emotions as a jump off point, and like I go to the place where I feel those things out, because there's one thing I fear the most in life, and that is just a lagging of something that hasn't been addressed. Mm-hmm. And that I feel that on like an emotional level with emotions. I'm not like let's let this ruminate, even with conversations. Like David will say, like, I'm an addresser, and I'm trying to learn in my adulthood how to let some things go and not address everything in life. Mm-hmm. But I'm very much a like, let's get a clean slate person. So I
think it helped. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but since then, I feel like things have lightened up.
I burned it.
2020 is our time.
I'm definitely like a burner.
You're a burner. You burned it that night.
I burned it down. Then I like take things on a piece of paper and I physically burn things. Like I will write things out. I will burn it. It's done. It's gone. And the weight has definitely lifted. Like I am feeling 2020.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I've got some mantras.
Mm-hmm. Good. Mm-hmm. Did you set your vibe?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I did.
Well, it's so funny because I was telling a patient yesterday who has listened to most of our episodes that was kind of a vulnerable episode.
Very.
It was
I'm
the
very
first time
self-conscious about it.
We had gone into a conversation like that. And first time we had drank wine during an episode too. So that contributes.
I was high on the wine.
Since November, when we relaunched the podcast, it was the first one where you didn't tear up during the podcast because of a positive emotion. You teared up after because of negative things. Uh-huh. So if you've been listening since we relaunched the last week of November, or the first week of December, Amy feels the emotion, even when it's a simple conversation. But I think all of our conversations have been valuable for most people. But you really feel it. Well,
I try to, as a human being and professionally as well, which I struggled with for a long time, just staying intellectual and professional in my professional world, but I can't. I very much come from authenticity, and with my authenticity comes my emotions. And I often feel so passionate about something that it makes me tear up. Now, I never used to be this person.
No.
I used to just shove it down.
You never cried before 2016.
No.
I don't think you cried at once.
No, I didn't cry while I was pregnant either. No. It's literally when I had True, I died and was reborn in a different way.
Definitely. It's undeniable.
It's undeniable. David says it all the time. He's like, I never saw you cry before 2016. Now I feel things.
You feel things, but it's not like you lost your previous self.
No,
I think it's just become more complex.
I think a lot of people look at being a mother like in a negative light, like being a martyr, and that you lost yourself. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm saying selfish having a child, Amy died, and I was reborn, Amy that also is a mother.
Yeah, right.
And it's definitely like you can mourn the selfish previous self. Like, I think that's normal and natural. Like, being selfish and self-involved is like really fun.
Definitely.
Sleeping, it's fun. Doing whatever you want is fun. But, it's not the same richness as being...
I don't, sorry to interrupt. I don't think this is necessarily all of the reason why people suffer from postpartum depression, but I think it's part of it. It's
one, obviously there are chemical, hormonal, mental, emotional things that happen, but David and I have talked about so many times that, there's a broad labeling of postpartum depression that really bothers me, because a lot of it is normal grieving of yourself that died before you gave birth. That is undeniable, and it is true, and that's not belittling postpartum depression. That is not lightening it. In no way doing that.
It's honoring it.
It's honoring.
It's so real.
It's a spectrum, is all I'm saying,
yeah.
And that some of that spectrum is just like acknowledging and feeling like it's okay. You're not selfish. Like, it's not like selfish in a negative light to mourn being selfish. You know what I mean? Like, I have a girlfriend that has decided not to have children. And she is living an amazing lifestyle, and she's very happy. And I often will like look at her Instagram, whatever, and be like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I so wish I was doing that right now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to feel like that. It's when you feel guilty, like when then you look at your children, you're like, I shouldn't feel like that. I should just be in this moment, whatever. And then you spin into this cultural like narrative that like, it also shouldn't make you sad. Like, you should, if you do feel sad, go there, feel the sad, go through the thing, get through the anger, go to the place. But, you don't feel guilty for like, yeah, it's amazing that people can just like take off for the weekend and fly to Vegas and stay at like the best hotels and like drink champagne in the morning.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's bomb. And like, her life is bomb. And like, you also don't have to like, then I hear a lot of people like try to rationalize it by putting that other person's life down to try to then like justify their life. No. Her life is awesome. My life is awesome. It's different.
Totally different.
And you can appreciate all the different things without the negative rationalization. Because when you do that, it only ends up hurting you when you're putting another person down, like all the life lessons.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
How do you come to this conclusion without therapy?
Being alone.
Yeah. You
meditation.
need alone time. Right.
Like, and also like all the big texts. Like I think of all the books and courses like in the, say, self-help, whatever movement, are all just reworkings of the big guys, like Science of Mind, A Course in Miracles, anything that Michael Beckwith has put out, that type of stuff.
Just trying to make it simpler.
Think and Grow Rich.
More modern. Yeah.
Yeah, and like sometimes that speaks to you.
Definitely.
But I like going straight to the source. Like, where did these people get these big ideas? And then going to like the formative books.
You have to read. I mean, this is what has benefited you and myself is reading the theories and getting so incredibly familiar with them that when you do get in situations where you have maybe intrusive thinking or when you have noisy mind, you can revert back to them. Well,
and sometimes it doesn't come up so rationally. Like for me, I would sit and read texts like Think and Grow Rich, or there's other foundational ones by that same author that I have. Like, I really went deep and ordered the whole catalog. Remember when I was going to become a minister at one time? Yeah. Remember, and I ordered all that's a whole nother conversation. I still might do that.
Yeah, why not?
Because it's one of my passions. But I ordered Napoleon Hill maybe. Anyway, it's one of the texts, and I was finding it really hard to read, but I kept pushing forward and just reading it. And then what would happen, I found, is I'd be in a situation where, say, these intrusive thoughts would come up, like, say, I'd be jealous of someone, or I'd start to get sad about where I was in life, or, you know, wishing something was different. And then the text would come up in my mind, like pop up in subconscious thought.
Yes, absolutely. You're thinking of a different author, not Napoleon Hill. You're thinking of, oh gosh, we're going to have to come back to this.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out and I'll come back to it.
Sorry, yeah.
You're thinking of a different option, a different author. This was 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And the lessons stick.
That's right, but they come up subconsciously sometimes. Sometimes it's not necessarily what you get in the moment. It's the same as meditation. Sometimes I find meditation like super uncomfortable, or journaling, like the way that I do it, those types of things, I find it really uncomfortable, but later the gift of it will come up.
Right.
Like
anything.
Right. Like, or sometimes I'll just be in a conversation and someone will be saying something to me and I'll be almost ready to go down the path with them or whatever. And then one of the things will come up and it'll just come out of my mouth. And then the whole conversation's healed and redirected. And it's like, oh yeah, I never thought of it that way. And then we just like,
yeah, definitely. You know. Definitely. That's how training works. And
that's training. Yes. That's what I was going to say, because I was so resistant to that. I was so resistant. Yes.
It's tough. It's like anything. It's like if you're going to train your body. I mean,
yes.
And people think that their mind is unchangeable, for one.
100%. People like love saying that people can't change.
Right. It's not true.
I mean, we're evidence of that.
Definitely talking to two type A's who were extremely anxious and all these things. Absolutely, you can train your mind, and it doesn't have to be one type of meditation. It's like one of the conversations I wanted to get in today is, how do you find what weight loss plan is going to work for you? It's the same thing for reducing anxiety. It's the same thing for staying focused. It's the same thing for growing in any way.
On the weight loss side of things, like, that's why I say about like erecting the pillar. What it is you're training your brain to be rerouted out of old habits, so that when the thing comes up, you're changing. It's like picturing your brain has little divots like train tracks, and you have to realign, like make new train tracks. So instead of falling into those old habits or thought patterns that then motivate you to take that action that is negatively affecting your future, you're making new tracks. Yeah. Oh, it's so true with the training. Yeah, you just inspired me with that.
It is. And well, it's coming up a lot for me because I've added a new therapy to my practice, which is virtual reality therapy for anxiety and depression. I
really want to do this.
You're going to love it.
I was very resistant to it at first, and I think that's everything that David has ever presented to me that I've been resistant to has been the thing that I should have done.
Okay.
Isn't it, though? Well, what else is there?
I don't want to take credit for all those things.
I won't go down the negative slope, because then there's things I didn't do, which I'm very mad at myself for. But like, I would love to do this. I think
well, it's people think when you say virtual reality that maybe it's a gimmick, but this has been well documented for 20 years across Europe.
Well, I don't. I think about it in the way that it's really one of the hardest things for people to do is to get in that meditation space where you're not just like constantly trying to like bring your brain back to calm.
Right.
And this kind of does the atmosphere for you, and it's like that much easier for me. In my mind, I feel like it's going to be a tool that sets the track so that I can slip into that place without the virtual reality faster. I'm very excited about it.
No, you're absolutely right. And in the training, they spend a ton of time focused on that the quality of the world that they have created or that's been computer generated doesn't really matter, because the brain adapts immediately to a perception that this is all real. And so you get in there and it looks like a computer game. And then the counseling process takes place and you go through different exercises and you're in this world doing the exercise, and I thought, okay, this is just going to be like a basic meditation. We've done lots of meditation before. This is going to be a basic meditation. It's totally not. It's like you're on the beach doing the meditation that is specific to research-based protocols to adopt a certain way of being in order to reduce anxiety. And they work. They're well documented. You do it. You feel it. And then when you get into situations later, you remember, oh yeah, I need to be mindful now, and here's how I do it. And your brain goes right to the training that you've done.
Well, yeah, it slips back in. It's a habit forming. I'm going to do that.
Naturopaths are trained to do counseling. Most of the type of counseling that we do is reflection type. So we allow people to discover why they've got into this situation. We facilitate their discovery of where the anxiety came from. And then that allows people to cope, right? And then we do nutrition and supplementation and all the other types of lifestyle advice to calm the brain. And that's the main reason people see naturopaths is for anxiety.
I think I would say most people see people right now.
Yeah.
Like the main reason you'd seek out any professional.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it props up as a symptom and you think that's the thing. But the reality is I just feel everyone I talk to has some form of anxiety right now. And I do not question why. Our society is so anxiety inducing.
For sure.
It's relentless.
It's totally different. It's so much more complex than it used to be. Like they used to have different problems, of course, but their lives were very simple.
It's the best of times and it's the worst of times.
Exactly. Anyways, this gives me a tool. So usually we just say, okay, you need to go and practice this meditation, whatever. We teach a person how to do it. Now in office, in clinical setting, we get to do a clinical practice, and then there's homework after each practice. Like, remember what you did today? Tonight I need you to do it for 3 minutes. And that's it. And it's incredibly effective. Anyways, so my point in saying this was the discipline component.
Also, I feel like it would set people up healthily because a lot of the times, like, it takes a long time to even feel any positive benefit from meditation. I remember, like, I meditated for, like, months to a year before I felt like it was really doing anything.
Right.
And this gives you, like, a quick one-off that would motivate you to keep going.
I did not have anxiety the day I did it, and I felt it anyways. Like, I still felt benefits. Anyways, I'm very excited.
It's interesting that,
Discipline. Let me get, this is Oscar prancing around, if you're familiar with this tiptoeing that you're hearing.
He's 100 and
he's 100 years old.
And he does whatever he wants.
We'll get him to stop. We'll get him to stop. He's so funny. So today on the show, gosh, if it's 2020 and you haven't got into a practice of something to facilitate your growth in one area, now's the time. Today's the 8th or the 9th of January. Meditation, of course, we think is on the top of the list. It's January, so people are thinking about weight loss. We were reviewing and we sent out an email with the top 5 shows of the last decade that we had done, the top 5 podcasts. And they're mostly, of course, centered around how to make weight loss more efficient. So what I wanted to do today was kind of just read out the titles and we can comment on them.
Sure.
The first one, our top show ever. Gosh, what one is it?
How to Shrink Your Waist, I think.
Is it that one? The Truth About Shrinking Your Waist. That's right. Most popular by far. Wow. By far. And you know what this is? When people gain weight, it's most commonly gained around the waist. And that seems to be the last place to go. Yeah, unless you do some training.
Unless you're the type that,
unless it's total estrogen dominance, and it's, that's this. Funny enough, that's the second most popular episode was how estrogen imbalance causes weight gain.
Yeah, because
that's around the hips.
That's right. So you either have one or the other.
Oh my gosh, top 2 episodes.
Right.
So I mean, we see a lot of course abdominal obesity, mostly related to glucose and insulin response, and that is just the access to carbs that we have. I know I keep saying this, but the carbs are everywhere.
Well, and also your body type. Like my body type, if I gain body fat, it's on my waist. Then it will go wherever. Yeah. But it always starts with my waist.
And I think
then it's always the last to go.
Always the last to go.
But it's always the most rewarding. Obviously. Yeah. And it can change your body completely. That's Oscar coughing now.
He'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be okay.
He'll survive it.
He's an interesting character. You know Wonky Donkey? If anyone knows the book,
Wonky Donkey, he is the Wonky Donkey.
He's the Wonky Donkey. It was written after him.
So the truth about shrinking your waist, I think that now as we transition to this new decade, it's going to be more and more important to facilitate discipline around looking at your plate and making sure there's not too many carbs on it. You don't have to be keto. Like, for example, our program has always been relatively low in carbohydrate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not an anti-carb person. No. I don't go there.
Well, you're a vegan. You need it.
Well, also, I think people, it's always a very slippery slope. The people I've seen do the most yo-yo or, like there's just certain body symptoms, I see that are related to keto.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Improperly done. Restrictive, So I'm very much, also you need carbs for brain function and hormone balance and for all the things.
Yeah, red blood cell function, brain function.
Yeah. So, but that being said, what our general idea of carbs and normalcy in our society today is abnormal. So it needs to be brought back.
Definitely. It's not normal to have liquid sugar. It's
100% not normal.
If there's added sugar in what you're consuming, that's abnormal. It's abnormal. It's not.
If you're not eating the majority vegetables than fruit at this point in this stage, that's abnormal.
Definitely.
Boom. I said it. Like, that's not a diet. That's just how you should be living. That's just that's the baseline for reality. Like, that should be the majority of your food.
Yes.
But in regards to the shrinking the waist, there are obviously the diet and making sure your hormones are balanced and all those things. Once you've got those all under control, one of the biggest things for having a small waist ratio, if your frame isn't that, is building your shoulders and your bum and your legs out.
Right.
So lifting heavy weight.
Yeah.
With doing your shoulders, getting your bum rounded, getting your legs built up some, and then you automatically have like that V taper. It's very important.
It's extremely important, and it also makes you more sensitive to insulin, and so your carbohydrate maintenance, your glucose homeostasis is improved anyways.
100%.
So the waist shrinks.
And your waist shrinks, and then on top of that, when you do go off and you have your treat and whatever, it doesn't affect you. Like you become the Teflon man or woman. Like, you are more resilient.
Your
the more muscle,
improved.
yes,
100%.
the more muscle mass you have, just the healthier, stronger, human being.
The main concern I come up against when I talk about this with patients, and you're probably familiar with this, is talk to me about bulking.
It's so, I get it. This is a two-pronged thing. I'll tell you with women, it's two-pronged. Here's the two prongs, and then I get very frustrated with this, and I wish I could just put it somewhere that everyone could hear it and then be done, because it drives me crazy. I used to be this person. I didn't want to lift weights because I'm like, but here's the two-pronged truth about this. To get like these women that you see that are so full of muscle that people like are scared of, it's not naturally possible.
No.
So to fear that is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Because it's not possible. You are not going to turn into the Hulk.
Yeah, no. I can see how you would get there if you haven't lifted before because you're not familiar. But you're not. It's 100%. Not gonna happen.
No shade.
Don't worry about it.
I felt the exact same way. I don't want to get bigger. I want to get tinier.
Right.
So that's the one prong. It's impossible. These women that are that size have something hormonally going on. It's not possible to. Your body is literally not designed to do that. No. It's not possible.
You're not going to get jacked. If anything, you're going to be too sore. That's it.
It's also so hard.
Oh my goodness.
Like, to get there. Like, it's just, I like that people are like, it's like saying like, well, I don't want to take this job. What if I become a billionaire? Yeah, like, no, you're not going to just slide into it. No, you know what I mean? Just because you're going to work next Friday, you're not getting $1 billion paycheck. No. Don't worry about it.
I love that analogy. Right? That's good. That's
what it is.
Yeah.
So there's that. The other thing is that when you start lifting weight, when you still have body fat to lose, you do feel tighter and bigger in your clothes, and you are quote unquote bigger. What's happening is your muscles are inflamed. They are ripping apart and rebuilding. So you're swollen, and then you have a fat layer on top of it. So yeah, your jeans might be a little tighter for a little bit. Things you might feel that you see the scale going up because you're retaining more fluid. None of these things are like, you need to keep going up the hill because the reward is going to be great. Once that body fat comes off, once your system gets used to this tearing down, repairing, like your body trusts you so it's not hanging on to all the extra stuff, you are going to be smaller, you're going to be leaner, you're going to be tighter, and your body is going to have a more beautiful shape.
Yes.
But just know that's what it is.
That's what it is. And not only is your metabolism going to be improved because you're going to have a little more muscle, but also that muscle is going to need to repair, and it's going to need resources to repair, and you will put energy in through fatty acid breakdown.
Yes.
Like, the fat will be used as energy in the repair process. It's an energetic process to recover from exercise.
Totally.
And so the benefits, of course, are metabolism boosting. But you're going to need energy to recover. Yeah. And you're going to use fuel. You're going to use stored fuel if you don't eat too much.
And one more thing I will say to this note is when you do start lifting weight, nothing is more exhausting than when you start like a weightlifting program.
For sure.
Because your body is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you're exhausted. But again, just give yourself that chance to get over these humps, because the reward is so great on the other side. You're going to be more tired. And when you are tired, like, do those extra nice things for yourself. Drink all the water, eat all the veggies, go to bed a bit earlier, have a nice warm bath, be kind to yourself while you're changing. You know what I mean? Like, be as you would to someone you love as they're changing, as they're, like, doing something positive. Don't go down with the monkey thoughts that are like, this isn't working, you're more tired, you're more hungry, you're sore, your jeans are tighter, none of this works. This is monkey brain. This is tricking you. This is your ego. Rise above. Yes. One of my sayings for 2020 is, who's going to stop me, huh?
Who's going to stop me?
Right?
One time Amy went for a run, and she said that the whole time she was on the run, she
45
listened to
minutes.
that song over and over.
45 minutes. Actually, it was 2 weeks after I gave birth to Ever.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you're not familiar with that song, Google it.
Google it. Put it on. Just listen to it 45 minutes straight. You know what? You're going to be better, taller, right?
Yeah, right.
I think I might do that today.
There you go. Ooh. Do not spiral. And if I had to add to that, I would say if you're starting out or if you've taken a big break from training, volume train. Only volume train. And the key principles here are, do not get tired and do not get sore, but do something every single day.
All day workout is a great one for that.
All day workout's a good one.
Have we done a podcast called just the all day workout?
I think so.
It's not one of my most popular episodes?
No.
What? I'm going to do it again. Maybe. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to put the secret. The all day workout.
The all day workout, yes. Number 2 was how estrogen imbalance causes weight gain.
That's yours.
Well, we talk about this holistic approach to weight loss all the time, because, you can go to a conventional weight loss community or conventional weight loss practitioners. So just cut your calories, exercise more, cut your calories. And people come to us and say, it's not working. And first of all, we make sure that, calories are actually reduced and that people are actually working out a little more. And gosh, you know what? They're not losing any weight. Well, what the heck is going on? Something is disrupting the metabolism. And it can be a series of things. One of the key things in the holistic approach to weight loss is maintaining androgens, the estrogen-testosterone balance, estrogen-testosterone, progesterone, and how they relate to cortisol, stress hormone, and thyroid hormone for metabolism. And so when estrogen is extremely, extremely high, which is pretty common, estrogen dominance, if you're not familiar with that term, it's a functional issue. It's not a big deal, can be corrected, but it causes reduced metabolism in many different cases. And you'll see a lot of people talk about weight around the hips being estrogen dominance, and we track hormones, we balance them, and people lose weight. All of a sudden, the calorie restriction is working. It's working. The increased exercise is paying off. All that time you're putting in, it's paying off. And it's not that difficult to reset your hormones. So we always look at estrogen imbalance when things aren't working, or if the symptoms, kind of fit like estrogen dominance type PMS, weight around the hips, that type of thing. And so, also it's important to note that fat cells make hormone. They facilitate the increase in estrogen levels, and so they make it a little more difficult. So sometimes we have to go ahead of that and suppress the hormone to get ahead of the weight gain. Anyways, that's my bit. Second most popular episode. Estrogen balance. Number 3 was your number 1 weight loss hack. What was it? My number 1 weight loss hack. This is probably the all day workout. Come on, that you can use today.
That's a long.
Wow, it was popular. What was it?
I think it's the all day workout.
It's got to be the all day workout. Anyways, you are a 20 squat person multiple times per day.
I am. And sometimes I just get my weights out. I'll put them near somewhere that I go often. Like it used to be my desk when I could sit and didn't have little people chasing me. And then when I'd come back from using the washroom and do the squats, I'd come back and I'd do whatever. Like, biceps, delts, whatever. I'm still that person. I just do it differently.
I think I'm going to get a pull-up bar for work.
Yeah, you would.
I have to. I love doing pull-ups.
He took I just want to say I have a closet that's like my meditation altar. Maybe I'll take a picture and share it with you guys sometime. And I just open up this closet and I have all these, my positive notes on the sides of my doors, and I open it up and like I have an altar and like I have my crystals and oils and sage and all my spiritual texts. It's my little weird area.
It's a cool little spot.
It's my spot. This man came in and put a pull-up bar in there. Like, could you?
It fits.
Can you imagine 2 different energies?
Oh my goodness.
No.
Where else could I put it?
You tell me.
Would it fit over there?
No.
No.
Oh my gosh, she's looking around.
We
No.
put it in the kitchen.
It's fine. It's fine. You
Pull-ups are awesome. Well, the thing about me is, with respect to the all-day workout,
He also does the all-day workout.
the typical things like push-ups and squats, I need to do hundreds to get a benefit, because I used to do so many of those. But pull-ups, I only need a few, and I get a major benefit. And so
if you don't know, Dave once won some sort of award or whatever for push-ups. Like, this is who I'm dealing with.
I really like doing push-ups.
Like, this is the person. It's just...
That's who you're working with. Anyways, the all-day workout. So yeah, I'm going to get a pull-up bar for the office. You just pump out a few pull-ups, and all of a sudden, your metabolism is ramped up.
To be fair, I can't do pull-ups. That's something I should try to be proficient at. It's a real sign of strength.
It only takes a little bit of time. Yeah, it only takes a little...
I'm always so impressed by everyone that can do pull-ups.
It's a core workout. Of course, it's an arm and a back workout, and the back muscles are huge. So if you make them stronger...
Also hard to target properly with all the different types of machines that we have.
If you improve your back muscle strength, it's like I always talk about when we're trying to improve metabolism and facilitate weight loss. We talk about quads, glutes, and hamstrings. Like we just do squats, for example, squats and lunges, and people have better blood sugar maintenance. For example, the diabetes goes away. But pull-ups, the back muscles are massive.
Do you find that you can surpass your traps by doing pull-ups?
Surpass your traps?
Yeah, because I somehow target my traps with every back or shoulder workout I do, and then I get that neck cramping.
You get neck cramping. Yes, you can bypass that.
I'm basically Arnold.
You're doing them wrong. I'll help you.
You're doing it wrong. No, you just are not doing it. Yeah. No, I'm asking you.
What?
Because I'm not doing proper pull-ups. I'm saying when I use the machines and stuff,
to do
I always end up using...
Yeah, it doesn't happen on pull-ups.
I wouldn't think, yeah. Okay.
It doesn't happen on pull-ups.
Okay.
It can happen on lat pull-downs. You can have some trap activation. And that's what happens to you. I think it's your form. But this and pull-ups, it doesn't normally happen.
Okay.
So yeah, the all-day workout, that was a popular one. Oh, and then number 4, that was all me. One time I sat down and just did a little podcast on my own. I was like, okay, Amy has these 2 children that she's taking care of. Was it 2 children? 2017. No, just 1 child. No, 1 in utero for sure. Yeah, one in utero. Anyways, I did this podcast, and it was the top 5 causes, potential causes of bloating, gas, abdominal pain. It was basically an IBS episode. Like, what is the cause of IBS? Why does it happen? That's a good one. Anyways, it ended up being number 4. But the thing is, you get into a situation where you can have some pain. There's a criteria called the Rome criteria that facilitate the syndrome that is IBS, or facilitate the diagnosis of the syndrome. Anyways, what are the causes? Why does it happen? And so we talk about in naturopathic medicine, the functional things that can occur. Are your enzymes low? And that can be, of course, stress or something else. What?
I'm sorry. I started singing a song in my head.
Oh, that's
my
great.
enzymes low, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. I'm around children
That's
too
so
much.
annoying.
I'm a child. I drank a lot of coffee. Go ahead. Sorry.
Probiotic imbalance, right? Is it foods? Is it inflammation from foods? Is it just like a terrible diet in general, not related to inflammation, just dietary cause?
Man, I've seen that.
Low fiber.
In my own self, even.
In your own self, yeah, just junk and it changing the way that your bowels are functioning, and then causing pain. Like, for example, I took 50 billion probiotics for a week last year when I didn't need it.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Just thinking, okay, this was very expensive. It was effective for what we needed it for, which was a cold.
No, I think that probiotic I had was for labor protocol.
No, you got it when you were in Nova Scotia because you had a cold, and I was like, I texted you and I said, you got to go get this one and it will help you recover, remember? And it worked. You recovered very quickly. And
but then you were like,
you brought it home, and I was like, Jesus, this was like a $50 probiotic. I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
And I got a digestive dysfunction that lasted because I was like, I'm not going to treat this.
You know what? No, I didn't have a cold. I was actually pregnant.
You were very
That's
pregnant.
why we didn't use it. Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, David.
Anyways, it messed up my normal flora. I
Yeah,
want to see how long
so
it would
bad.
go back into balance. It took forever.
That was awful. And that's a good lesson too. Like all these people taking the probiotics when they don't need it.
Oh my goodness. Well, this one, the 50 billion, it says daily probiotic or something. It says like for daily use.
Yeah.
No, you can use it once a day when it's indicated.
But don't you find this is the year 2 of like I just get really frustrated. It's like you and I were talking privately. We're not going to go into it right now. Maybe we'll do an episode on it, like about CBD. And just what we were talking about is like, it's the same line as what I talk about with supplements all the time. If something has a benefit, then it has a counter effect.
Right.
So everything is just not for everyone. And like, I get like a lot of supplements don't have quote unquote a dangerous side effect. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm just a big believer in you don't just go to the health store and be like, this sounds good. This sounds good. Just swipe everything off the shelves and then go home and take everything. Like, no. It's called a supplement. Mm-hmm. It's something that is to be on top of your healthy routine when indicated, when needed. And that's why I feel like it's so important. Like, before you went to school, even I think after I went to school and I was in this, like, I would just be like learning about a supplement and be like, this sounds amazing. I'm going to go take it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would just take all this junk and like, I was, you know, holding on to all this body weight. I had adrenal fatigue. I had hormonal problems. And like, I was making things worse for myself. And I could never find out what worked because I was just taking a bunch of crap.
Right.
And like, I wasn't doing like what you got me to do. You stripped it all away. You gave me the one thing that was indicated. Then we healed that. Then we did this. Then we did this. And like, that's why I think it's so important. Like, I'm very much a lone wolf in all areas of life. Mm-hmm. But one thing, you going through your process of schooling and like me allowing you to help me has taught me that all coaches need a coach, all teachers need a teacher, Definitely. All professionals need a professional, because you can have the overview, the unemotional, no blinders, detached view of what I've got going on. I just wish you could do that for everyone. You made things so, like, it would have taken me, I probably still would be in adrenal fatigue if I was keep going, like, because there was no, I wasn't going to get myself out, because I would just had the mentality of harder, faster, more supplements, more whatever, just do, you just got to be more. And you were like, wait, we have to like strip some things down here. It's just so beneficial.
Oh gosh.
And I don't think I ever would have went there. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I would have ever reached out for help.
Right.
You know, like, I think I would have been like, no, I can do it. I can do it. Because, you know, it's like I get professionals all the time. I'll have doctors or psychologists or whatever join my program. And the first line will always be, I don't need you.
No.
But, and like, I never go back with ego. I always say, of course you don't need me. Yeah, obviously. You're like very educated. You know what you've got going on. I'm going to organize it for you.
Right.
Right?
That's how I feel like, that's what I feel like my job is a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Just organizing it for people.
But also the perspective without blinders. Mm-hmm. Like, really intelligent people, we all have blind spots, and we all can't see things because we're looking at our lives through our perceptual lens. Mm-hmm. And we have all these backstories of why we do certain things, and a lot of the time they're unacknowledged.
Right.
You know, like, the reason I ended up in adrenal fatigue is because I have a deep-rooted low self-esteem that if I just work harder, I will be
Definitely.
a worthy human being to be on this planet. Yeah. I'll get there.
If I just punish myself a little more. If I just
work harder than everybody else,
right,
I can be good enough to exist.
Yeah.
And I know that's in there. But, like, I needed you to be like, oh, you're actually directing this even in, like, what you're choosing, like, how you're choosing supplements. Right. Like, you're going at that. You're using this in all areas of your life. Like, you need to do that for people.
Oh, my gosh. Well, there's this example, right? But then there's also the example of people doing things for a specific purpose, but then not tracking.
100%.
Not tracking the labs.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this, and
and
this
that's
is what's
the other
been recommended to me.
Once you did my actual, like, that's the other thing. I was going the wrong way. And once you did my hormones for me, and I saw where and then you were like, oh, you think you have this, you're treating yourself for this, you're actually making this worse. And, like, it's amazing. Like, I know it's very simple, and everyone's like, yeah, get the test. Like, obviously, Amy. But, like, if you're the type of person that's, like, a self...
Well, also, it's very tricky because, you know, seeing integrative practitioners in many areas are expensive, and it's, you know...
Yeah, but I look at it the same way I look at now buying healthy food.
Yeah.
Like, and when people are like, it's expensive, it's like, well, what's the alternative? Suffering and then dying? Mm-hmm. Ending up sick? Never getting to realize your potential? What is scarier? And, like, everyone can readjust their budget. Like...
Yeah.
Most people. I shouldn't say that. Like, we have had times in our lives there was no budget, obviously. And then in those 2 moments, you can only do your best.
Right.
But once you do have any type of flexibility, you know, like, I would obviously rather be healthy and feel good and wake up with energy than have the new pair of jeans.
Right.
That's just reality right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. It boosted my confidence like crazy today. Holy.
I'll only give you little doses here and there.
Just a touch.
We don't want you to fly too high.
No, absolutely not. Oh. Okay. The number 5 was how to cut sugar cravings for good. That was our top 5. Sugar cravings, I mean.
I've got the most experience with this.
The most.
I'm an actual addict. Like, deep down. Like, you know how people are like, alcoholics say, I never really recover. I'm just in recovery.
Yeah.
That's me.
You're just in recovery. Okay, sure.
You know that. Sometimes I'll look at Dave and be like, oh, I could go for a bag of candy. He's like, you would never do that. And I never would.
No.
But, like, I know that person. Like, that person's still in there.
Yeah.
Like,
the bag of candy person?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Penny candy?
Straight sugar addict.
Oh, my goodness.
High on the shugs. Love it.
Don't do it.
I would never do it.
I wonder if that's how we should look at it for most people. It's like, you're a recovering... Yes. It's a drug. You're a recovering addict.
Are you joking? Yes. All the things.
Do you think you can get away from it, though?
Yes, you can. I walk by candy. I don't buy it.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. It's the same thing if you open up the door.
But at the same time, I would never bring certain items into my house. You know, I say to you all the time, like, David will be like, want to go for a certain treat. Like, he's very fancy about his treats. You'll hear like
fancy.
Well, you are fancy. You'll hear like an artisanal whatever's opened up and they have blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Some fancy donut.
Cronut.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
No. The best cinnamon bun in the world.
Right. He's that person. He believes all those statements. Are
you sure? We're going to have to check this out.
Congratulations. No, anyway, so he'll want to do that. And he'll be like, oh, do you want to have it with me? Whatever. And or do you want to bite? And I'll be like, no, I'm an addict. Like, if I crack the door open, I will then shove my body through and just roll around in your house. Like, I cannot go there.
I'm just picturing you rolling around in penny candy.
Honestly, I would.
Oh my gosh.
It's a dream.
That should be the photo for this episode. Let's go buy 1 million penny candy and have you roll around in it.
I would.
That could go viral.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. No, but honestly, like, yeah, like all things. Like, I'm also like, yeah, like, you have to be honest with yourself of what your addict stuff is and what, like, and it's without putting heavy terms on it. Like, I'm not, like, walking around like, my name is Amy and I'm a sugar addict. But, like, I am. Mm-hmm. And I know my boundaries. Mm-hmm. And certain things can't come into my house. I can't participate in certain activities. Sometimes I can have a bite of something and, like, try it and appreciate it and be like, oh, that's awesome. And then, like, move on with my life. But if I know I'm in a zone where, like, then I will crave sugar that night. Then the next morning I'll crave sugar. Then, like, no.
Yeah, we're so different. You're really not turned off by these, like, just straight sugar candies? No. You're not turned off by that?
Junk. I know it's pure chemical. Yeah. I know it might as well just be...
It makes me feel really weird.
Yeah, it makes me feel weird, too. It's called high on sugar. And it feels great. I'm one of those people, like, I need boundaries.
Goodness. Yeah.
I need firm boundaries.
Right.
To stay in my lane.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
There are, like, lots of different places that this can come from. Very common place this can come from is emotional eating and needing, feeling like this is the state of comfort.
Well, and a lot of people, like, and I think in the generation we were raised and the generation before that, a lot of the comfort and, like, happy times and, like, the love you did get was presented by a grandmother or a mother cooking a delicious warm meal and everyone eating said meal together. Mm-hmm. So then it branches off into, like, oh, you skinned your knee? Do you want a cookie? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And, like, that sets patterns. It puts that ridge in your brain. And then, like, you automatically go there. Oh, he broke your heart? Well, go buy a pint of ice cream. Mm. So now I have sayings in my head. And this is a harsh one. And people might not like it. But it works for Amy because Amy likes harsh. I say in my head, you know what's not going to make this better? Getting fat. I like it when I'm upset about something. And I'm like, man, I want to go get some junk. I say in my head, you know what's not going to make this better? Getting fat. And you know what? It's not. Because no matter what.
Okay, I didn't think you were going to say that. That got me by surprise.
No matter what's going on.
Yeah. No.
Getting chunk isn't going to help.
No.
Right? You don't want to add that to the list.
You don't. The list don't get longer. Oh, geez. That's good. Okay, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it.
And you can't say it out loud.
No.
You can never say it to anyone. These are, you got to get the codes.
Only on a professional podcast that we hope millions of people will listen to sometime.
That everybody will know. Like, I'm sharing. See, I am giving you my vulnerability. These are, like, this Absolutely. Is, you have to pick stuff that works for you. Harshness works with me.
Yeah.
I got to go there. It's the only way to straighten me out. I'm
Okay.
a wild child I've got to be tamed all the time.
Next time I see you with that twinkle in your eye, I'm going to know what you're thinking.
And it also makes me laugh, and it makes it funny.
For sure.
And then it changes the state. Like, it's not serious. Like, who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to make my life better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to have the best life I possibly can in this incarnation. I'm just doing what I can.
Definitely.
You know what? Stay in your lane, girl.
Okay.
Okay.
That takes care of the emotional piece. The second piece is digestive dysfunction. So an upset normal flora.
Yeah.
People talk a lot about candida and sugar cravings. They talk about SIBO and sugar cravings. Disruption in digestive tract can increase sugar cravings. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. So we look at that one.
Mm-hmm.
We also look at low energy in general, like being extremely fatigued, for example, like not sleeping.
That's the
and then making poor food choices and having cravings for sugar.
I find low energy for myself and for a lot of people I work with one of the most upsetting. Like, it's a snowball creating, because you start to like get upset with yourself and like you're emotional about it. Then you're like turning to like foods that give you that spike so that you get the energy, and all that does is make you crash. And like,
yes,
it's a really, really dangerous one. And one of the biggest things, which sounds crazy, is sleep more.
Sleep more. It improves metabolism. It reduces cravings.
And take all your electronics out of your room. Go to bed early. Stop watching like stimulating things. Literally go to sleep. Just do it.
Just do it. Get to bed.
Yeah.
It helps. And the last one that comes to top of mind is when you have this pattern of some freestanding simple sugar in your life, like for example a little bit of sugar in the coffee, or a little bit of maple, or a little bit of honey, or a little bit of this or that, enough that it causes a blood sugar spike and then a dip. And during that dip, like I'll tell you, if I'm having some type of liquid sugar, 1 hour to 2 hours, like somewhere in that window later, I'm craving sugar.
I know.
I need it again.
Yeah.
Give it back to me. My levels are definitely lower now than they were at 1 hour ago. I'm gonna need something. So I've had to completely, like, I was a 1 pack of sugar in the coffee.
I know.
And now I'm not, because I recognize that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like that.
Oh, I know. Like, that's one of the things that I get a lot of people to do on our program is either do black coffee or just like coffee with a splash, and that's a harsh one.
That's a big change.
Like, and I feel it's like really tough too. But once I start doing it,
well, and people say to me like, I have low blood sugar. And I'm saying, well, you know what? Maybe you're experiencing dips, but you don't have low blood sugar. We're testing it. It's not low. You're experiencing the effects of eating too much. And so if we get used to eating less, you'll have less dips. And here's how to facilitate that by having more calories from these other sources.
that reminds. I'm sorry, but I can't stop laughing about this because I remember my nephew when he was little. He was a little sugar addict.
Yeah.
And he was always trying to get his hands on treats. And when sometimes he would say that and he didn't know how to say it properly, so he was like 4 or 5 and he'd turn to his mom and go, but my blood sugars.
My blood
and he'd be
sugar.
trying to get a cookie. God, he was cute.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
That's adorable. So those are our top 5 episodes. Wow. Those are good ones.
You know, now that I'm looking at it though, the number 1 weight loss hack is not the all-day workout, because there's another one, my secret weapon down there, like the 7th or 8th best.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the all-day workout.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to go into that. You know, one of my favorite episodes.
What's your favorite one?
The weight loss plateaus aren't real. That really makes people mad. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I like that one.
I have a way around plateaus now. I know that we're saying plateaus are not real in this.
Yeah.
But I have a way around
the barrier that people say is a
metabolic
plateau.
suppression, and it's called Pinoe metabolic device. And it's metabolic analysis through oxygen testing with exercise. And I'm going to be doing it in clinic. It's going to be amazing. And it's coming up in the next few weeks. Anyways, determining someone's metabolism through an in-office assessment that I'll be doing.
Ooh, can I do that?
You can do it right away. It's coming in on Monday. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. And so you get to know exactly at what heart rate do you burn which fuel, fat or carbs. And you can build a program around that to facilitate the most fatty acid breakdown in that time of exercise. And so you can only build lean muscle mass and use up all fatty acid storage. And it is for people who have this metabolic suppression. I'm not eating, I'm exercising, and it's not working, well, through a 15-minute test, we'll be able to figure out exactly why and how to fix it. And that will be, American Heart Association has said that VO2 max, the other part of this assessment, is the new vital sign. Heart rate, respiratory rate, blood pressure, and VO2 max. In the clinic, we'll be doing VO2 max, resting metabolic rate, and metabolic rate at every heart rate all the way to VO2 max. It's going to be amazing. Anyways, the thought of plateau or the thought of metabolic suppression will be completely removed. It's going to be great.
That's good.
Anyways, I'm excited.
We can tell.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. This has been Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 148. And if you're looking to connect with us more, you can find us on many different platforms, including Instagram at Damie Health is where Amy is. And hopefully I'll be making more videos for YouTube at youtube.com/Damie Health, where you can find more of me there. And this podcast, if you like watching or listening to podcasts on YouTube, you can find this one there.
Sounds awesome.
If you want to be updated when we post, please subscribe to our newsletter at damiehealth.com. On the front page, there's a little email slot where we'll send you an email that says you can listen to our latest podcast. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah,
Have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
Bye.